Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have General Motors Cruise now laying off layoffs after a myriad of recalls and their driverless vehicle accidentally hitting a pedestrian. Whoops. Or is it because the Terminator's come to life? Dun 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 dun. And if you didn't get that movie reference, that part of me would just die a little bit inside, because that classic by James Cameron with Terminator movies, I mean, that's just a good staple of cinema. Granted, I find most of his statements politically, morally vacuous, but nevertheless, from a creative standpoint and his, directing capabilities, obviously top notch. Now, General Motors actually purchased Cruise a couple years back. Cruise, again, not great marketing because they used to have a vehicle called the Cruise, which was a great little fun vehicle, a Chevy Cruise Eco with a stick shift. Great way to get good fuel economy, and good old stick shift as all cars should have by default. But now they bought a AI-driven company, so the Chevy Cruise little sedan, that car is dead. The compact sedan is dead. They don't make it anymore. It was made in Ohio. Now they bought a company called Cruise, Cruise, and they are the autonomous driving company they bought out of, I believe, San Francisco. Where did they buy it from? But they recently had these issues where you have the recall, you have the pedestrian getting hit, and they're halting production because they say they don't have enough vehicles. So unfortunately, now it's getting even worse. They're going to start doing layoffs. Now this comes from us thanks to a media company in the Bay known as Crone 4, which oddly enough has nothing to do with Transformers or sci-fi, but it's just a regular news station, interestingly enough. Now, it looks like GM said they will be laying off a unknown specified number of workers, and layoffs are set to impact contract workers employed through third-party vendors and staffing agencies, which was told us by a Cruise representative. Contingent workers will also be let go assigned with work that includes contingent workers who will be let go assisted with work that included cleaning, charging, and maintaining the AV fleet. The first report that Cruise layoffs are on the way, according to Forbes. Cruise CEO Kyle Vogt told the company executives that layoffs were necessary during the hour-long meeting. The meeting was to discuss the damage control measures following a series of damaging headlines about General Motors-backed autonomous vehicle service in San Francisco. There had been a steady stream of incidents involving Cruise vehicles. In October, Cruise vehicle had run over a pedestrian who knocked into his path by another vehicle. With the pedestrian trapped under the chassis, the Cruise vehicle attempted to pull over, dragging the pedestrian, who was critically injured as a result. A detrimental software error, to say the least. Now, thankfully, I do not believe that person perished from us, so there's always a silver lining, usually if you squint hard enough in life. And following that incident, the Cruise's autonomous vehicle department and driverless testing permits were suspended by the California Department of Motor Vehicles. The DMV cited a, quote, unreasonable risk to public safety as the reason for the suspension. And then later, a couple days later, GM announced that it is recalling all 950 Cruise vehicles in order to update the software and prevent similar incidents from occurring. Or perhaps updating the software, now that they have that, it can learn more and be more efficient. Sci-fi or reality, time shall tell. But when a spokesperson also said, quote, mapping with supervised testing with a safety driver behind the wheel will continue at this work is a crucial element in continuously improving our tech, unquote. They declined to share the specifics on the number of workers impacted or the locations in which they worked. So the upside is it's a very popular area in the automotive community is autonomous driving, and there are a lot of startups, especially in the Bay Area, around that subject line. And a lot of the major manufacturers, the legacy manufacturers, have those initiatives as well. So I'm hoping that all the people who are negatively affected and impacted by the layoffs are able to find gainful employment at one of the other big companies or a startup company relatively soon, given their skill sets. But to have something where GM is saying, oh yeah, we think this is a good bet, it's the future, a lot of people want autonomous driving, which again, how boring must your life be? Every car should be 3 pedals by default with the good old manual stick shift, internal combustion engine. It's just so much more fun. That's why that's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation gotta be 3 cents. That's my preference. Then some people get 2 pedals, which is where you have an automatic transmission. And then you're gonna have these other new future cars, driverless cars with no pedals. So from 3 pedals to 2 pedals to no pedals. I mean, driving is such a rare, fun experience. I think you should savor every second of it, even if it's in bumper-to-bumper traffic. If you have a stick shift, you can still have a little bit of fun. And it's a good workout, which I'd argue many Americans need anyway. But nevertheless, to have one of the things, as GM wants to be a huge EV company, they want to be a futuristic company, they're putting all bets on that, as some might say. And have even more issues and now negative news for their GM, the Cruise. I gotta say, that's certainly business blunder of the day. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments section because I do want to make the show better and better and better. Also, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.